I am so mad at the Barbie movie. We were tricked. Before I rip this movie to shreds and share my very humble opinion, let's talk about the history of Barbie. Ruth Handler was an American inventor who created the iconic Barbie doll in 1959. The doll was named after Handler's daughter, Barbara. Barbie was introduced to the world at the American Toy Fair in New York City. The Ken doll was named after Handler's son and was introduced 2 years after Barbie debuted. Handler was the co-founder of Mattel, a company that manufactures a variety of popular toys. With Harold Matson, former business partner, Elliott created a garage workshop in 1945. Their business name, Mattel, was a combination of the letters of their last and first names. Matson soon sold his share of the company, so the Handlers, Ruth and Elliott, took full control. Mattel's first products were picture frames. However, Elliott eventually started making dollhouse furniture from picture frame scraps. That proved to be such a success that Mattel switched to making nothing but toys. Mattel's first big seller was the Yuka-Doodle, a toy ukulele. It was the first in the line of musical toys. In 1948, the Mattel Corporation was formally incorporated in California. In 1955, the company changed toy marketing forever by acquiring the rights to produce the popular Mickey Mouse Club products. The cross-marketing promotion became common practice for future toy companies. In 1955, Mattel released a successful patent toy Gap gun called the Burp Gun. On March 9th, 1959, Barbie debuted at the New York Toy Fair. The first Barbie wore a black and white striped swimsuit and her signature ponytail. Toy buyers were skeptical because Barbie was unlike the baby and taller dolls that were popular at the time. So basically, Mattel has always been doing this marketing thing since the early 1950s. Handler said Barbie was a symbol of freedom and possibility for young girls and women. She once said, "Barbie has always represented that a woman has choices. Even in her early years, Barbie did not have to settle for only being Ken's girlfriend or an invertebrate shopper. She had the clothes, for example, to launch a career as a nurse, a stewardess, a nightclub singer. I believe the choices Barbie represents help the doll catch on initially, not just with daughters, who would one day make up the first major wave of women in management and professionals, but also with mothers." Handler created a personal story for the very first Barbie doll. She was named Barbie Millicent Roberts, and she was from Willows, Wisconsin. Barbie was a teenage fashion model. Now, however, the doll has been made in many versions connected to over 125 different careers, including President of the United States. Barbie came as either a brunette or blonde, and in 1961, a red-headed Barbie was released. In 1980, the first African-American Barbie and Hispanic Barbie were introduced. The first Barbie was sold for $3. Additionally, clothing based on the latest runway trends from Paris were sold as well for between $1 and $5. In 1959, the year Barbie was released, 300,000 Barbie dolls were sold. Today, a mint condition #1 Barbie doll can be fetched as a $27,000 worth Barbie. So Barbie is genius. Now that you know a little bit of history, let's talk about how Barbie, Mattel, and WB attacked us, literally abused us since 2022 with their marketing. Pink is the new green. In marketing circles, there is what is called paid media and earned media. A TV spot for a trailer is considered paid media, for example. Earned media can be buzz on social media or publicity. Then there are promotional partnership deals, which can be worth tens of millions. Barbie has attracted more than 100 such partners, from custom pink Crocs to a Prada clothing line to hair dryers and everything in between. Merchants and brands rush to cash in on Barbie mania, while companies including Progressive Insurance and General Motors use Barbie in custom TV and digital advertisements, you heard that right, Progressive and General Motors. All told, these partnerships are worth at least $70 million to Warner Bros. And toy maker Mattel, home of Barbie. They both were cashing in. And the value of the publicity the film has generated is immeasurable, from local TV news spots to features in Architectural Digest and The New Yorker. Warner Bros. And its parent partner, Warner Bros. Discovery, needed this win. This summer's DC superhero pick, The Flash, was a sizable loss after earning less than $268 million to date at the global box office. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, released earlier this year, was also a major disappointment. If it lives up to the hype, Barbie, which cost $145 million to produce before marketing, it could be a huge profit generator for WBD. It's like they saved everything they have for Barbie press, products, and promotions. If you think about it, when's the last time you saw Shazam on the red carpet, or did you even see The Flash do a red carpet or any press? They gave that entire fun to Barbie, and you can tell. The first teaser trailer, which played before Avatar: The Way of Water over the 2022 year-end holidays, was a parody of Stanley Kubrick's cinematic masterpiece, 2001: A Space Odyssey, that replaced the famous monolith with Barbie star Margot Robbie. The movie's playful tone came into future focus in early April with the first proper trailer, complete with a viral moment of Robbie's arched foot stepping out of pink heels. A few weeks later, Ryan Gosling, who plays Ken, appeared on stage at CinemaCon 2023, decked out in a pink blazer. Dude, they were taking over. And I realized this when I clicked on HBO Max and it wasn't blue anymore, it was pink. Various divisions across WBD were part of the Barbie in the Real World Blitz, including a competition series that featured HGTV talent redesigning a home in various Barbie-inspired rooms from across the decades. There was also a Summer Baking Championship on Food Network, while more than 15 networks across their platform featured pink logos and other Barbie on-air graphics. It was like a Barbie nationwide takeover. There were celebrity music collabs. Some celebrities even switched up their release drops to match the marketing wave, releasing all pink outfits just in time for you to see the movie dripped in pink. There were Barbie pop-up restaurants all around the world, makeup partnerships with NYX, ColourPop, Elf, and even Barbie Airbnbs, HGTV remodel competitions, and summer baking shows featuring Barbie challenges. And let's not forget, there was a time everyone on social media was flooding our Twitter feeds with Barbie Mattel stickers claiming their Barbie identities, from musicians, actors, and normal folk like you and I. I didn't fall into the wave, but I could feel Barbie all around. Honestly, Barbie, how dare you?
Yeah, really, Barbie. What's wrong with you? Screw you, Barbie.
Okay, so let's just kind of get into...
So much to get into.
First of all, I did not plan on taking my husband to see Barbie. I bought 2 tickets and was hoping my sister could see it. She ditched me for her best friend. Mm-hmm. So I was like, babe, you gotta come.
I'm always her second choice. It's a good feeling.
Anyway, so we got there. Everyone's in pink, of course. I wasn't either, honestly. But I genuinely wanted to see Barbie because I had so many Barbies. I was like the Miami Barbie girl. I actually had all of the collection. I had the original Barbie, like they redid Barbie in the 1990s. So my stepdad bought me the OG Barbie. I had it all, okay? So I was excited to see Barbie just because I am a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Yep.
Living plastic is fantastic. Like, I had everything. I could just talk about it all day. I didn't know what to expect from this movie. I didn't know if they were going to do like a life-size type vibes. but I was expecting it to be like a feel good comedy.
Yeah, lighthearted,
feel good, haha, kiki, like a little, ditzy at times.
Yeah. I felt like it was ditzy at times, but not in the way we were expecting.
Right. It was ditzy from start to finish.
Yeah.
To be fair, we didn't stay the whole time. That's how bad the movie was.
We stayed almost till the very end, though.
I think we left, like, right when the last 15 minutes of the movie, I was just like, I can't. I literally looked at Michael and was like, I cannot finish this movie.
I didn't mind. I was doing Sudoku at that point, so.
I was scrolling Pinterest.
Yeah. Let's start with the good.
Let's talk about the positive.
Let's talk about that.
So, what did you like most about the Barbie movie?
Well, the set. It's a little tough. Okay, the sets were definitely the best part of it. Like, the amount of time and effort they put into getting those life-size sets was unreal.
Yeah.
Just the scale of it had to have been extremely difficult doing that stuff.
I mean, the news was talking about how they used every single, they ran out of the color pink at Home Depot and Lowe's.
I believe it.
Every paint department ever. Mm-hmm. That's how much paint they used, so.
And I actually didn't mind Margot Robbie as Barbie. I think she made sense as the Barbie. I like Ryan Gosling as an actor.
But I feel bad for the script that they gave him.
And I'm not sure if he's not who I would have expected for Ken. And I think I'm going to stand by that comment even after the movie's done.
I feel like...
But giving the fact that this was basically a Barbie movie that's not about Barbie, like a very subversive movie, I guess he does kind of make sense for that acting choice.
Yeah, I would think Ken would be a really bad actor. Ryan Gosling is a phenomenal actor, so him being Ken kind of didn't make sense for me because I genuinely, if you remember Toy Story, they had a Barbie and a Ken in Toy Story, and that's exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah,
I was expecting
that one, and give him credit. He did a phenomenal job at acting at a very one-dimensional character.
Yes.
Very one-dimensional.
Yeah, I agree. So what I liked most about the Barbie movie was it was visually stunning. The clothes, the makeup, the sets, the colors, the animation, it was definitely giving that plastic vibe.
Yeah, the cinema was interesting.
Nothing was real in the Barbie world. She kept it very much. When Barbie was making food, nothing would come out. Her refrigerator was fake. Everything was fake. It felt like I was playing with my Barbie set. So I did enjoy that, and that's probably the extent of what I enjoyed about the movie.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think, and I don't know if a lot of people would agree, but I think that the first 20 or 30 minutes, regardless of how we felt about the movie, made sense for the setup. Because it made you feel like you were kind of going down that particular path. You were going down that path of, okay, this is going to be, a real life type story, life size.
Yeah,
type
it
story.
Did feel like she was gonna actually go into the real world. But what I will say is there was a string of disconnect from beginning to end. There was no plot to this movie.
And almost, I would say, not only is there no plot, but the problem wasn't that there wasn't any planned plot. There wasn't any setup. It's that there were so many different directions they were trying to take this movie by the first hour that, as a viewer, I was completely confused. There were so many things that we were trying to address. And for a Barbie movie, 99% of it was extremely heavy stuff.
Right. So this is definitely not a movie that you go see with your children.
Yeah, straight up sexual, innuendo, all kinds of stuff that was just randomly got thrown in there. And even that stuff, I get that it was probably from a joking standpoint, but it didn't really fit with how they set the movie up. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of set up the scene a little bit because I think the first 5 minutes kind of tell you where the whole movie's going, even if you don't realize it at the time. Because you open in with this scene that's kind of like a Space Odyssey ripoff at this point. You've got this giant 60-foot version of Barbie, and all these little girls are just up looking at them in awe, and it's supposed to represent, you know, Barbie coming on the scene in the 1950s, 1960s, whenever she came in, and disrupting the market, because all the dolls at the time were baby dolls, and kind of questioning the idea of whether, you know, girls wanted to just play with baby dolls. And when they see the Barbie, all these little girls, they take care of their
feed them,
baby dolls, and but with this premise, when they see Barbie, they take the baby dolls that they had and they smash them on the rocks. And literally, that pretty much represents what this entire movie is about. It's a Barbie movie that is subversely against Barbie, and it's super confusing. We're gonna take traditional ideas and we're just gonna smash them into the ground as hard as we can.
It was an attack on traditional ideas of womanhood and manhood.
Yes, and honestly, I wouldn't have an issue with it if, one, they had actually chosen a specific direction to go in.
Yeah. But
they tried to address so many things. They tried to address stereotypes in womanhood, the issues that women deal with, stereotypical man misogyny, patriarchy, how to friend zone a guy, how it's impossible to be a woman, all of these things. And when you get to this point where it's just like, I'm not being shown a story, I'm being told. Agenda,
Yes. What really got me was they had in the beginning, like the first 15 minutes of the movie, there was this Barbie doll that was pregnant. And they specifically called out this pregnant Barbie doll that they discontinued back in the 90s because they felt like it was weird. Who wants a pregnant Barbie doll? I was like, what's wrong with a pregnant Barbie?
Yeah, and they continue to riff that particular Barbie.
Yes.
And while saying that this is a place of inclusiveness, but that's okay to riff.
But but while also saying that being a woman is impossible, while simultaneously attacking a pregnant woman, a pregnant Barbie. So pregnant Barbies are not okay. I'm confused that Barbie is attacking Barbie. Like, it felt like I didn't get it. I didn't understand. Yeah. Alright, my first problem with this is the humor. It's one-dimensional.
So one-dimensional.
It was not funny at all. When I say, and I'm not a hard gal to make laugh. I mean.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm not that funny, but I can get it to crack up.
Literally. So I'm watching this movie, we're sitting in this movie, and people are literally laughing at, I can't think of one funny scene.
Yeah.
It was like slapstick, I can't even say slapstick.
Yeah, I think that was the thing too. It's like, I guess in a way it could be funny. It was kind of slapstick, but things like, hey Barbie, can I come stay over with you tonight? And then she'd be like, well, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do? He's like,
well, I don't really know.
I don't know. And I was like...
listen, in some situations, that type of humor can work, but the thing is, you're trying to tackle such difficult topics, and you want to do it in a satire type way.
Yeah.
But you're not presenting any type of intellectual humor or
oh my god.
Yeah, it's not layered humor. It's just so one-dimensional.
It was a parody.
Mm-hmm.
That's the comedy that it was. It was a parody without it actually being a parody.
Exactly.
I felt like they were making fun of Barbie, but they didn't realize they were making fun of Barbie.
No, it was very intentional. And Greta has even said about her directing style for this movie that she believes that a movie can be and both. So essentially she can make a movie about Barbie, but also talk and communicate about the flaws of Barbie in that movie. And maybe that's true, I don't know, but it's convoluted. It's convoluted. And why with your marketing would you say that this is going to be a movie for everybody, which is what their whole marketing scheme was, and then make sure that the movie is extremely polarizing? It's not for everyone then. Be so for real. Come on now.
Be so for real.
Be so for real.
Be so for real now.
Come on. Be honest with it at least. You made it to be polarizing, and that's cool. That still makes money. But you did not make this movie for everybody. And it was completely inappropriate to say that because people are going to bring their kids to this, and they're going to have to suffer through the dialogue where people are talking about beaching each other.
I don't even think kids will understand what's happening on the screen.
No, they're gonna be so bored with this movie.
It's such a boring movie. This is the worst movie I have seen, and I've seen Shazam.
Here's what I don't understand. How can such a visually stunning movie be so dependent on nothing but the dialogue to carry it through?
Oh.
It's just like...
And then the dialogue wasn't good.
So Barbie goes to the real world. Like, that's the whole setup. Barbie's coming to the real world.
Yes, let's talk about the real world.
But how long do we spend in the real world? Like, all of 20 minutes.
We were in the real world, and we were out of the real world. And the time we spent in the real world was disgusting.
Right.
So, imagine, okay, so the Barbie world was vibrant, beautiful, colorful, and then we go to the real world, which, okay, I get. She was trying to make a point. The real world is real. It's like the real deal. So when we get to the real world, it's darker. The colors are really subtle. And we get there and everyone's misogynistic. All the men, like Barbie walks up to a group of construction guys and they're just talking to her like, hey, what's up, baby? What's going on, baby? Oh, I like your outfit, baby. You looking good, baby. And I'm like, when is the last time we watched? Is this like the 1950s?
And again, for satire purposes, I could see how she wanted that to go, but there has to be a certain level of relevancy for satire to work. This isn't the 1960s.
Right.
And like magnitude matters. Sure, there are isolated events where that happens, but to make it seem like that's just widespread is...
Like, men are just disgusting like that. Like, they say these nasty, disgusting things to women on a regular basis to the point where we can't even walk up to a group of men and they not treat us right.
And I'm sorry, this is in LA. I feel like those construction workers are more likely to be like, you totally misgendered me. Like, what are we talking about here? For a movie that's supposed to break stereotypes, it plays into so many stereotypes about men and women. In LA? Are you kidding me? I don't know about the whole, like, I think that the idea of the patriarchy is very much like a last 10-year thing. And I get what they're saying, because, like, it's been a conversation basically since the 90s for feminists of the lack of equality specifically within power structures. And that's always kind of been the conversation, is we need equality. And that's kind of what they were trying to do with Barbie, because they were talking about how in Barbie land, like, the Supreme Court is all women, and there's a woman president, and the roles are actually reversed. Like, the Ken dolls don't even have a place to live. They live in a matriarchy.
Right.
So the whole premise is that the matriarchy is okay, but the patriarchy is bad.
Right.
But again, for me, even if you agree with the idea of patriarchy, like, my whole thing is, how is this relevant for satire? We have a Supreme Court currently with like 50% women. We got a female vice president. Now, I'm not saying everything's perfect here.
Right.
But like, we're not in this place of a hellhole where only the power goes to the men. Like, I'm not here with my wife saying, well, I'm gonna go vote right now. You stay right here, my little homemaker, and make no decisions whatsoever. Because anyone with a rational mind is going to say competitiveness, even among genders, is a great thing to make sure that we continue.
When Barbie makes her way to the Mattel Corporation in the real world, the boardroom is full of white, Caucasian, straight men.
Right.
Like, they're running the Barbie land. They're essentially over the fact that the women rule Barbie land, and then the men in Barbie land are just there to exist, to assist with women. So that didn't make any sense.
But also,
that didn't make sense to me.
Again, it's one of those things where, to a degree, I think that would have actually been very clever. Because, again, it's satire, so we've got a company that really is owned by a white straight man, that's the CEO, and a bunch of white execs saying, every man in this that's not misogynistic is just a giant man-child who has zero intellect.
Zero.
My thing is, again, with Greta, you're trying to make a point here, but who stands to profit the most off of this movie? The CEO of Mattel. Like, this guy, of course he's okay with being made fun of.
Right.
He is going to go down as the CEO that has made the most money for them in recent history. He's brought in so much money to a doll that is completely oversaturated in the market.
We
It's
just
so
gave
subversive.
all the white men all the money.
Yep.
We just gave him all our money.
Well, not all the white man.
I literally want my money back.
I didn't get any.
There was just like, we just gave that white man all of our money.
Okay, and
Problem number 3. You remember, Barbie goes into the real world for about 15 minutes of the movie. Okay, I'm exaggerating. 30 minutes, maybe. Tops. Maybe 25. She goes back to Barbie Land. And she changes nothing in Barbie Land. She learns in the real world that women are oppressed. And she takes that information, she goes back to her world, and Ken has taken over and has made Barbie Land Ken World. This is now Ken Land. And she goes there and she tries to trick the men into reversing the world back to being
basically
all about
her answer for the patriarchy and misogyny is we need to be manipulative and cheat men so they see the issues here. And it's like, so we're playing into a female stereotype that all women are manipulative in order to get past the patriarchy and the stereotypes of men. And apparently all of manhood, toxic masculinity, can be reduced down to Godfather quotes, Rocky Balboa,
Yes.
and playing the guitar at people, which I think that was probably the funniest line in the entire movie.
Yeah. So Ken Land turned into like this very macho, beefy type of world where the men are ruling everything. They're drinking beers and the women are serving them now. And basically it turned into the real world, apparently. And in order to reverse it back to where men just exist at Barbie Land, the women had to manipulate the men into thinking that they were helping women. Like, for example, if a woman had a question or was confused about something, she would say it and a Ken doll will overhear it and it would snap him out of whatever he was doing, and now he's assisting the Barbie again.
Yeah,
so,
no, well, they were manipulated into competing with one another.
Okay, how did the movie end?
How did the movie end?
We left before it ended.
Yeah, but basically Barbie goes back to the real world. Does Barbie Land see any development? No. The Ken dolls are still serving the women. Like, nothing was changed necessarily. There was no long-term character development for any of these characters. The only thing that could be said of Ken is basically he needs to find himself. Whatever that means.
Yes, find himself and get over Barbie.
Also, can we talk about the fact that we're watching a Barbie and Ken movie where Barbie's not into Ken?
Right.
And
Why is that?
Like, that's the whole premise of
my Barbie
the
and Ken
Barbies.
totally were in love.
Right. But that's where we took this weird detour of like, oh, this is no longer about the patriarchy. This is about learning how to be okay with friend zoning a guy. Apparently all men struggle with that.
For me, I was really expecting this movie to just be a feel-good comedy, and I left the movie angry, mad, and I wanted my money back.
Right.
So,
I don't know, like, I'm not a woman, I can't speak to that. I don't know if I would feel empowered necessarily at the end of that movie.
I didn't feel empowered.
As a dude, I feel like, wow, well, I suck.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was kind of the point.
Yeah. It felt like that. Because I have an amazing husband, so I kind of like... I feel like while I was watching it, I'm like, I don't feel like men treat me this way. That's just not my reality.
I've got a butt-kicking woman that works in the corporate world. Like, what? Again, like, if this was 1960s, this type of satire would make sense.
Yes, 100%.
But I don't understand, you know, maybe you can explain this to me, how basically this big monologue given by America for a Fra is an accumulation of them saying being a woman is impossible.
I could not believe she said that. How is being a woman impossible if you're a woman? I'm a woman, so it's possible. I don't I did not understand that, and I didn't connect with it. And when she finished with her long monologue, it's like a couple of women in the audience were like, and I was just like, I'm so confused by that. Ooh, are y'all slaves? Is someone hindering you? Is someone holding you back? If you or someone you know is being held back by male misogyny, please watch, like, and subscribe to Little Miss Popular for encouragement and empowerment for future endeavors.